If you spot tall windows, shutters, and a roofline that feels like a fancy hat, you're probably looking at France.
France isn't one style. It's Paris, the countryside, and the sunny south, each with its own building logic.
In 10 minutes, we'll lock in 5 things. Recognize the look, understand why, learn how it's built, where money goes, and the iconic details.
Let's start with Paris, because French housing has one global poster child: elegant facades, iron balconies.
Then jump to the countryside, where stone, plaster, and practical layouts tell you what the land could provide and what the weather demanded.
And in the south, the light changes everything. Warmer colors, terracotta roofs, and shading that feels like part of the architecture.
Here's the memory trick. French homes have the hat, the eyelids, and the jewelry.
The hat is the roof, pitched for weather, slate in many northern areas, tiles in warmer regions, and the Paris Monceau silhouette in the city.
The eyelids are shutters, volets. Once you notice them, you'll start seeing them everywhere in France. And the jewelry is wrought iron, balconies and railings that give the street its signature handwriting.
Add tall windows and light facades, and the whole building basically says bonjour, without using a single word.
Now the real question: why do French homes keep repeating these features? The answer is weather, risk, and daily life.
France spans wet Atlantic winds, colder winters, mountains with snow, and summer heat in the south, so roofs and walls have to do real work.
That's why pitched roofs matter. They move water and snow away fast, and they survive decades of weather without drama.
Shutters are low-tech climate control. They block harsh summer sun, add a buffer in winter, and keep evenings private. Then there are constraints: historic streets, protected exteriors, and renovation rules that quietly keep the look consistent.
That's why many neighborhoods feel cohesive. The street is treated like a shared heritage, not a blank canvas.
Culture matters too. Long meals, street-facing privacy, and the simple habit of controlling light and sound from the outside in.
So those features aren't decoration. They're solutions built into the shape of everyday French life.
Now let's speedrun how a home gets built in France. 6 steps, country style, from rules to finishes.
Step 1 is the rules of the land. What you're allowed to build, how tall, how close to neighbors, and what the exterior can look like.
This paperwork phase isn't glamorous, but it can decide your roof shape, your windows, and even your facade materials before construction starts.
Step 2 is the foundation. Slabs, footings, or deeper solutions, depending on soil, drainage, and region. In wet areas, water management is where projects either stay calm or turn into expensive surprises.
Step 3 is structure. Modern French homes often use concrete blocks, with reinforced concrete where needed. Fast, solid, familiar to crews.
That's the twist. A house can look centuries old on the outside, while the structure behind the finish is completely modern. You'll also see timber and prefabricated methods, especially on newer projects. Quicker builds with a different feel and different costs.
Step 4 is the invisible hero, the envelope. Insulation, airtightness, and moisture control decide comfort more than almost anything else.
Newer performance standards push better energy behavior, so builders obsess over leaks, weak spots, and how heat escapes. Step 5 is the roof. In France, roofs aren't just protection, they're identity, from slate precision to sun-baked tile.
And in Paris, that mansard hat with dormers is the skyline's signature, so iconic it feels like a national logo.
Step 6 is utilities and finishes. Electrical, plumbing, heating, and ventilation. Then the surfaces you touch every day.
This is where a house becomes a home, and also where budgets quietly disappear into kitchens, bathrooms, and craftsmanship.
So where does the money go in a French build? Think less about the pretty facade and more about what takes skill and time.
First, labor. Skilled trades, masonry, roofing, tiling, electrical, cost real.
Second, the roof. Its structure, waterproofing, insulation, and detailing. Done right, it protects everything below it.
Third, windows and doors. Tall openings look elegant, but performance glazing and correct installation can take a big bite of the budget.
And shutters aren't just decoration. They're part of comfort,
privacy, and sun control, which makes them worth paying for.
Fourth, heating and ventilation. Modern efficiency expectations push better systems, and the upfront costs can be significant.
Fifth, kitchens and bathrooms, the pretty costs. Plumbing points, waterproofing, tile work, fixtures. This is where budgets go to die.
One rule, never cheap out on the roof. That's how you end up buying the same roof twice.
Now the fun part. 5 details that instantly scream France. Once you learn them, you'll recognize French homes anywhere.
Iconic detail 1. Shutters, volets. They manage light, heat, and privacy, and they're
Iconic detail 2. Tall windows and elegant proportions. The vertical rhythm makes buildings feel refined, even when they're simple. Iconic detail 3. Wrought iron balconies and railings. It's street jewelry, small metal lines that add a French accent to the whole block. Iconic detail 4. The Paris hat. The mansard roof with dormer windows. It's one of the world's most recognizable urban signatures.
Iconic detail 5. Light facades, stone or smooth plaster. France often keeps exteriors calm and lets shadow and proportion do the decorating.
Put those 5 together, shutters, tall windows, ironwork, mansard dormers, and light facades, and France becomes instantly recognizable.
Quick recall. Recognize France by the hat, the eyelids, and the jewelry. Roofline, shutters, and ironwork.
Why it looks that way. Climate, constraints from heritage, and daily life. Comfort, privacy, and how people use their homes.
How it's built. Rules, foundation, structure, envelope, roof, then systems and finishes. Where the money goes. Skilled labor, the roof, windows and doors, heating and ventilation, and the kitchen and bath packages.
And the iconic 5 details? Shutters, tall windows, ironwork, mansard dormers, and light facades.
That's France. Part climate machine, part craft, part history you can live in. Next episode, we'll visit a country where the building logic flips completely.
If you remember only one visual rule, French homes love vertical elegance, tall openings that make even ordinary buildings feel refined.
And those iron balconies? They're not always for sitting. Sometimes they're just enough space for air.
Now, the why in one sentence. French building is a negotiation between comfort, tradition, and the realities of climate. In wet regions, you'll notice details that quietly move water away. Gutters, drip edges, and roof slopes that do the hard work. In hot moments, shutters turn a bright room into shade in seconds, like putting sunglasses on the whole house. And culturally, France values a strong boundary. The street can be busy, but the home stays calm and private. Okay, build time. Think of the process as layers: ground, structure, skin, hat, then the organs inside.
Before foundations, crews measure everything. Corners, levels, drainage direction. Small errors here become big problems later. When the concrete cures, the site starts to feel real, like the building has finally claimed its footprint. Concrete block walls go up fast, but straightness is everything. Lines, corners, and openings must be perfect for windows later. Then comes the smoothing magic. Plaster turns rough structure into that calm, clean French facade you recognize.
The envelope stage is where modern performance lives. Tapes, membranes, careful joins. Boring to watch, expensive to fix if ignored.
Roofs in France are craftsmanship on display. Slate lines are disciplined, tile patterns are rhythmic, and every edge has a purpose.
Dormers are the Paris skyline's little eyebrows, small openings that add both light and character.
Inside, French finishes often lean calm and durable. Tilework, wood, stone.
Now the budget reality. The more custom the details, the more you pay for time, especially with roof and tile crafts.
Window costs don't just come from the glass. They come from perfect installation, sealing, and avoiding future leaks.
Heating and ventilation are invisible costs you feel every day. Too weak and you suffer. Too sloppy and bills climb. Kitchens and bathrooms look small, but they're dense. Plumbing, waterproofing, electrical, and finishes all stacked together. Iconic detail recap begins with the easiest spot. Shutters moving in and out of sunlight like a daily ritual. Tall windows are next, especially when you see them repeating evenly across a facade like musical notes.
Ironwork is third, sometimes ornate, sometimes simple, but almost always deliberate.
Then the Paris hat. Mansard roofs add an extra usable level while keeping the skyline elegant.
Finally, the light facades, cream stone, pale plaster, surfaces that glow softly and make shadows look like decoration.
Now pause mentally. If you saw only the roofline, shutters, and ironwork, could you guess France in 5 seconds? That's the whole method. See the signature, learn the reason, understand the build, respect the budget, and remember the icons.